Hello everyone. So I welcome you again. So in this lecture we are going to understand the service model. So far we have understood that there are various offerings from the cloud and we are divided these offerings into the service models. So far we have seen that there are three basic service models that are termed as SaaS, PaaS and IaaS. Now we'll go into detail what exactly the service models and what kind of offerings we get from the cloud providers under these service models. So let's start. So the very first service model to discuss is SaaS, that is a software as a service. So SaaS is basically a cloud offering that provide the users an access to service providers cloud-based software. So the softwares are actually available on the cloud from the providers, and we can use these softwares to get our tasks done. So if we look to the core business processes supported by SaaS, so we have some very well-known example such as offering like Microsoft Office 365, the Google Gmail is a very known example of SaaS. Then in the customer relationship management, we can use through the services such as NetSuite CRM and Salesforce. These are again very popular SaaS services. If you look to the HRM, then we have services from Workday and SAP SuccessFactors. These are again very known SaaS services in the HRM domain. Then we have many SaaS services are available, means we have a softwares available on the cloud that can take care of the financial management and activities like billing and many other activities that deals with accounting and financial management. So in this, we can say it provides the capability to the consumer to use the applications running on the cloud infrastructure. These applications are accessible from various client devices using a web browser. Here the consumer does not manage or control the underlying cloud infrastructure such as the networks, the servers, operating systems, storage. Everything is to be taken care by the providers, and the customer no need to worry or take care about all the resources. Now if we look to the key characteristics of the software as a service, so SaaS is basically, or you can say the SaaS clouds is a kind of multi-tenant architecture. So in this model, the infrastructure and the code are maintained centrally and accessed by all the users. SaaS actually allows the customer to manage the privileges. It allows to monitor the data, and it also ensures that everyone can see the same information at the same time. In all the offering of SaaS as a product software, it provides security, compliances and maintenance in all part of the offering. This is one of the feature that you see in most of the SaaS offerings. Users can use the applications that can fit their business process with a simply point and click. They are allowed to modify some data fields and can enable or disable features that can be aligned with the business processes. And whatever the customizations are done by the users for using the SaaS services, these customizations are remain preserved with the upgrades as well. In the SaaS model, the user are paying for the services through a subscription model. They make use of the resources that can be easily scaled as and when the service demands. If we look to the key benefits, then we have these three main key benefits. No upfront capital. That means that the businesses can directly procure solutions without caring for the upfront capital. There is no need to develop and deploy the software which is required for the company. They can simply look into the cloud about the services which can make their task done. They can just take the subscription and use for the business. Then second is the reducing the time. It basically means that it can reduce the time from decision to value. So all of the time will be avoided when we use ready-made applications available at the cloud. So users can access these core business applications on the cloud from anywhere, because these applications, these softwares are accessible anywhere with the help of browsers on the internet. These applications can be purchased and deployed within a very short period of time, so it can reduce the time. It can also reduce the obstacle that we see generally in the case of configuring and deploying the application on the server. So all this stuff can be avoided, and we can immediately start working on our application. So these are the key benefits of the SaaS. Though we have many benefits of the SaaS, but as you know that most of the thing in the world we see, we have two faces. We have advantages, we have disadvantages. Similarly, we have certain concerns of SaaS are here. We can say some risks are here when we are using this kind of service. The very first thing is data ownership and data safety. So because we are using the services, the software which is residing at the third party, at the cloud providers, so you need to rely on the credential of this provider. You need to rely the security mechanism that is used by the provider, the encryption that he is using at the clouds. So this is something which you have to compromise. And also the data ownership is actually again will be and data ownership is again one of the issue, because you are not purely owning your data, but it can be residing on the clouds. So you are sharing the data among with the cloud providers. So you need to make sure that what is the data policy they are following. So security is always an important consideration, because you're allowing a third party to maintain the business critical data. This is one of the risk or the concern for your business. Then next is the internet connection. So here the application access relies on the internet connection. So if there is a weak connection, then it will affect your business. The performance may be degraded. But again, when you look to the benefit and look to the risk, and if you compare both the things, you may realize in many of the cases these benefits of the SaaS are outweigh the concerns, means outweigh the risk that is associated with the SaaS. And presently, if you talk about all the three services model, this is the largest segment of the cloud market technology. SaaS is the largest segment. So among all the three, the SaaS, PaaS and IaaS, SaaS is one that is being used by the maximum number of users in the current time. So this model basically provides customer a complete platform. That means it provides the hardware, the software and the infrastructure that can be used to develop, deploy, manage and run applications created by them. So the customer is getting a complete environment for its application development. So you can see here it provides the capability to deploy the application on the cloud, whether it's a consumer created or the acquired application. So here the consumer has a full control over the deployed application, and it does not need to take care about the underlying architecture on which this platform is running on. The customer is only interested to run its application, design its application, customize its application and take care of the data. If we look to the essential characteristics of the platform as a service, then the very first thing is we find that it provides high level of abstraction. So high level of abstraction, we mean that it eliminates the complexity of deploying application, configuring the infrastructure. All these things are hidden by from the developers, and he can only concentrate on its business logic and can design its application according to it. Then it can provide services and APIs that can help the developers in delivering the scalable and highly available cloud applications. In general, these services typically include a variety of capabilities such as APIs for distributing caching, messaging, queuing, you can say file and data storage, workload management, user identity, analytics, and so on. The PaaS runtime environment executes end user code according to the policies set by the application owner and the cloud provider. Here, this PaaS provides, it supports the developers with rapid application development and also the deployment as well, or you can say it support the push and run mechanism for deploying and running the applications. So the key offerings in the market for PaaS: AWS Elastic Beanstalk. Now this is something which is offering from the Amazon Web Services. Then we have from the IBM Cloud Foundry. From the Microsoft we have this Windows Azure. From Red Hat we have OpenShift. So likewise there are many offerings from the different cloud vendors, and these are very popular among the PaaS. So as a student of cloud computing, you must be knowing that what are the different offerings of the different cloud providers. So these are some names. Later we will practice on some of these offerings by these providers to have a feel that what exactly the PaaS offers to the customer. Now if we look to some of the use cases of PaaS, what are the scenarios where this kind of services will be realized or used? So in this we can see that organizations are using PaaS basically to develop, run, manage and secure APIs and microservices which are loosely coupled, independently deployable. The second is Internet of Things or IoT. So here we can say the PaaS supports a broad range of application environments, programming languages and tools used for IoT development. In case of business analytics and intelligence, here you find that the cloud offering as a PaaS, it offers many tools that allows organization to analyze the data to find business insights, and that enables the organization to have more informed business decisions and predictions that can help to raise their business. Then in the BPM category, the PaaS offerings are the organizations are using the PaaS cloud to access the VPM platform deliveries as a service. And if we talk about the MDM or master data management, so here organizations are leveraging this PaaS to provide a single point of reference for critical business data, such as business about customer transactions and analytical data to support decision making. So these are some of the use cases for the PaaS. Okay, so move to the next. So we have seen that what exactly is the PaaS key features, its offering and the use cases. Along with that, also understand its limitation or drawback or the risk that is associated with the PaaS. Like in the SaaS, we have many benefits are there. We have certain risks. Similarly, we also have risk with the PaaS. So here, the very thing is the very first thing is the services can get impacted when service provider infrastructures experience a downtime. So this is one of the key drawback of this offering. The second thing is that the customer also don't have direct control over the changes that may take place with the provider when there is any change in the strategy or the service offerings. So this is again a limitation you can say with the PaaS. So again, we need to compare about the offerings and the limitations, and most of the time it has been found with many of the offerings at the PaaS that it can these benefits can outweigh these risks. So still we find that the PaaS is very popular and is used by many of the business organization, though there are risks are associated. Then the next service model is IaaS, that is infrastructure as a service. So basically IaaS delivers the fundamental resources the compute, the network, the storage to consumer on the on-demand basis over the internet as in the form of pay-as-you-go basis. So you can say the IaaS is a scenario when you have the software and platform ready with you and you want the hardware to run. That means you are actually looking for the IaaS service. So looking to the IaaS environment, what is the scenario in the IaaS? So here the customer can create and provision the virtual machines of their own requirement, and they can deploy these virtual machines, their configured systems in any of the regions where they prefer, because nowadays most of the cloud providers are existing globally. They are providing the global access. They are having the data centers in multiple locations. So you have a freedom to deploy your virtual machines or your server at your desired location. The customer can deploy middleware, install applications, and run workload on these virtual machines. So you have a provision, means the customer will get the provision to configure as per the requirement. So here the customer can create storage for the workloads and backups. So here you have the provision to keep your storage based on the different storage medium provided at the cloud. So we'll be seeing that what are the different storage mediums that is offered at the cloud. So here we have the provision, the customer has the provision to configure their application, their servers with their kind of storage requirement that suits to the business. It can also provide the customer to track and monitor the performance of usage of the cloud services and manage the disaster recovery. So this is again a very strong advantage or benefit you can say with the cloud, that it gives provision that every customer can manage. So there are a lot of data analytics options are there on the cloud where the customer can easily monitor the performance and can control and monitor the traffic of the customers. And by looking to all these information on the cloud, they can plan for the business growth. They can design their application. They can also plan for the usage of resources of the cloud and can make their budgets accordingly. There's a provision for disaster recovery as well. So there's a huge backup provided at the cloud. So in general, with the IaaS, the cloud providers basically manages the physical resources, the data centers, the cooling power, the network and security, as well as also maintains the computing resources that includes the servers and storage. So this is the basic offerings of the IaaS and the cloud. Now if we look at the use cases, mean the scenarios where this IaaS is actually required or supported, the scenarios. So we are looking to the scenarios where the IaaS is actually desirable. So the very first thing is to test and development environment faster. So that means that organizations enable the team to set up test and development environment faster with the IaaS offerings. It will help create new applications more quickly, helping developers to focus more on business logic rather than infrastructure management. Then it is also widely used for managing this business continuity and disaster recovery. So when we talk about business continuity and disaster recovery, it actually requires a significant amount of technology and staff investment. So IaaS offering is basically helping the organization to reduce this cost and make application and data accessible as usual during any disaster or outage, because they provide a very heavy backup onto the cloud. So even in case of any disaster at any location, the business will remain and continue. Then the third important scenario is to deploy the web application faster. So the organizations are using the cloud infrastructure, and specifically this IS offerings that help them to deploy their web applications faster, and can also the customer can scale the infrastructure up and down as and when the demand fluctuates. So this is again one advantage of using the IaaS. The next is high performance and computing capabilities. So again, the organizations are leveraging this high performance and computing capabilities of the cloud infrastructures to solve their complex problems that involves millions of variables and calculations. For example, solving problems related to the climate and weather predictions and financial modeling. So again, this offers a wide range of facilities to run the business effectively. Then mining massive data sets. So basically, we are mining these huge data set to locate valuable patterns, trends, associations that basically requires a huge amount of processing power. So at the cloud, we have provided with this capability, and a customer can use these features to run their business effectively. So these are the three different service models. We have seen in detail what exactly the key features of these models, and along with that, we have also seen a kind of risk associated or the challenges associated with these offerings. So as a cloud consultant, you need to understand all these offerings carefully, and you need to have an idea about the risk. So whenever a demand arises in your company or in a business to move to the cloud, and what kind of services is good for you, you are in a position to suggest that which model will be the requirement of the company. And this is only possible when you have a good understanding of all the offerings of the different service models and also the risk associated with them. Okay, then in the next part we will see that what are the different cloud providers that are available nowadays, and what are the offerings in terms of these service models. Okay, thank you very much.